Welcome to the one-a-day painting challenge. I'm Yvette, and in today's video we're going to paint this awesome painting. I'm going to paint it live and show you step by step everything I do and talk about all the tips and tricks of how I paint this painting. So I encourage you to paint along with me. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. That way it'll make it easier for you to find the videos in the future.
The first thing we're going to do is add blue to the background. I'm going ahead and painting the sides and the edges to get them nice and pretty, so that way I can spend more time focusing, making cool, awesome marks on the top. Notice the way I'm putting the paint on the canvas. I first put a whole bunch of paint on the canvas and then I go over it many times to make lots of cool little brush strokes. Be careful with the dark blue not to go over the parts that are going to be white. It's going to have to take a lot of colors of white to cover up some blue. So get to the edges of everything, but don't go over, and also try to keep the shapes intact. Notice how I had pre-sketched the image onto the canvas prior to painting. This is to help me color block and to make things a little bit easier on myself. If you need the template, go to the painting group Painting Challenge on Facebook, and I have it listed there where you can print it and trace it using the transfer method, the grid method, or the projection method, whichever works best for you. To add the water, I mix a little white with the blue and just fill it in. I'm taking care to make sure the edges are crisp and clear and that I'm not covering up all of the stems. I like to dry my canvas every so often. This helps me to not have any boo-boos just in case. I recommend painting the leaves before the flowers because the flowers overlap the leaves. Notice that I'm just caking the paint on it first, and then after the paint's on, I'm going back and forth to get those brush strokes and those lines very pretty. And I'm working really quickly to make sure that the paint doesn't dry. Let's go ahead and add some gray. I chose gray just because so we can have a definition between the inside of the flower and the outside of the flower. When using the hairdryer, use the low cool setting. That way the paint will get too hot and turn into little bubbles. The camera is not picking it up too well, but I'm adding a light green to highlights where the leaf is kind of bent over and we can see the bottom side of it. I'm filling in the inside of the flowers with white. I'm going ahead and adding the paint very thick, and I'm also trying to make sure that my lines are very crisp and clear. To make the table, I'm using a dark brown. I'm doing the edges first, so that way when it's time to paint the top of the canvas, I can focus more time and energy on that. In this method, I'm going very quick and just caking the paint on, making sure to go horizontal so that way I get those brush strokes and those lines. I'm also going over it many times while the paint is still wet to get as many little horizontal brush stroke lines as I can. Notice how some areas of the wood are dark and other areas are light. I noticed that some of the blue was still coming through and my edges weren't crisp and clear, so I'm going to go ahead and go many times over these flowers just to make sure that I get those edges really pretty and I don't see any of the blue, the gray, or the green come underneath of the flower. Make sure that your brush is washed really well. Don't forget to dry your painting every so often so you don't have accidental boo-boos and move paint around the canvas where it doesn't need to be. Let's add some shadow in the flower. I'm mixing white with the gray to make a very light gray. I'm going inside of the flower at the base of the inside. I'm just adding little commas. Making glass is really easy. With a clean, tiny, skinny brush, I'm going to go ahead and make the outline of the jar to make it pop. I'm going to be very careful to make sure that my line is as pretty and as straight as I can get it. Now it's time to add the inside of the flowers where the pollen is. I'm going with yellow and making little candy-like shaped looking things inside of the flowers. Go ahead and have fun with it. I'm also caking on the paint to make it bubbly and have lots of little dots and grooves. The camera isn't picking it up too clearly, but in life I can see how the pollen has a little bit of personality. Making glass is very easy. I'm going to put some white on my clean dry brush and I'm going to kind of wipe it off, and then really lightly I'm going to rub my brush on the canvas, just adding a little bit of white at a time. And there's really no method or rhythm. I'm just adding little marks here and there where it feels like the light would be bouncing off the glass. Now make sure that you don't cover in all of your vase. We still want to be able to see what's going on the other side. Just little bits here and there. Some areas are going to be thicker white, others are going to be very not white at all. And make sure to make the line on the top of the jar so that it goes all the way around. And take a moment and figure out little areas that need just a little bit of a touch up. I have a lot more YouTube videos that talk more in depth about all of these techniques. Go ahead and check them out. Thanks for watching. Push the purple flower to subscribe and you can watch all kinds of awesome videos.